Hey guys, HW. That's Cockatoo Island you can see in the background behind me. That's where we were last week. And I'll whack the link up there if you haven't seen that vid yet. But I'm across the water at Birkenhead Point, which I was hoping to do that same day that I was over at Cockatoo Island. But instead I'm going to do it today. Looking down at all this kelp in the water in the harbour, or this part of the harbour / river. But we're here today to talk about Birkenhead Point, which we'll have a look at in a second. But just before we do that, let's do the weather observations. So a bit cloudier today, not those clear blue skies that we had last week. But today in old Sydney town it's going to be 25 degrees Celsius, and the wind's currently from the east at 17 kilometres an hour. So let's get going along the marina of Birkenhead Point, and I'll tell you a little bit about the history. It's a beautiful breeze, the beautiful easterly breeze blowing off the water. And because it's not too hot today, it's not creating that much humidity. Might be different if I was doing a bit of work out here. Look at this lovely big cruiser here. The Susie Q. Oh, Susie Q. Looks like it's got some decent accommodation down the bottom of it as well. In the distance there, that bridge you can see the cars racing across is the Ironcove bridge. And if you get atop that Ironcove bridge and get on the walkway, you can meet up with the famous bay walk around Ironcove. Come here on any weekend and any morning, you'll see plenty of posers walking around that walk. Some people exercising as well, and people walking their pooches. Here we go. Let's get into the marina here to do our talk. And then we'll be able to face back towards Birkenhead Point itself. So there's the actual buildings that make up Birkenhead Point there. Now back in the early 1900s, those buildings there, there's collections of buildings there, was a rubber factory. It was a Perio rubber factory. It's got a D in the name, but the D is silent in the French pronunciation of it, which I've probably butchered anyway, but let's just say Perio. It was a rubber factory. At its height, it was producing up to 50,000 pairs of shoes per week, and between 500,000 and 700,000 tyres annually. Later on in the 1900s, around about 1928 I think, it merged with the Dunlop rubber company, thus the Dunlop tyres. And then I think around 1976, somewhere around there, the factory closed, and it was purchased by David Jones. David Jones, retail fame. Let's get a bit closer to the building. Yeah, 1976, the factory was sold to David Jones, who redeveloped the site and later in 1979 opened it to be the shopping centre that it is today. Now, I didn't come here back in those days, a bit before my time, but I have been here many times as a child. Because as far as factory outlets go, and that's what it later became, with the help of David Jones, it was like a clearance centre where all of the unsold merchandise from David Jones and other stores was dumped to sell at a discounted price. And I started coming here when I was a kid because it was a factory outlet. It was a place to come to get a bargain. And that's all I remember it as. I don't remember it, what it was like back in those early days. But I thought it'd be nice to get here today and have a look, a bit of a look around to see what changes there's been since I was coming here as a child. But as far as factory outlets go, this is the only one that I knew of. There was no direct factory outlets back in those days, the DFOs. But reading a bit about the history of this place, I found out that David Jones did have a factory outlet back in the ye old days in Surrey Hills. Surrey Hills is synonymous with the rag trade in Sydney, and I've spoken about that before in some of my videos, one of my Surrey Hills videos in the past. But yeah, this is a real place to park your motor yacht, isn't it? It's a couple of sailboats, but they're mostly motor yachts. Let's get into the centre and see what it looks like these days. Certainly looks like a factory, eh? You can imagine black billowing smoke coming out as they're producing the tyres and the shoes. Just before we get into the centre, let's just have one more little tidbit. Was apparently back when it first started operating, I think I read that there was a ferry, a special ferry that used to come and drop the shoppers off. I assume it came out of Circular Quay and dropped them off here, but I've been through here on various harbour cruises over the years, like many Sydney-siders. That's one of your rites of passage, I think, is to go on a harbour cruise when you're a Sydney-sider. And often the boat would pass through here. The route they take under the Ironcove Bridge and around Ironcove and then back out that way. And I remember one particular harbour cruise where, and you know, you're a captive when you're on board. Like they usually go for like anywhere between 2 and 3 hours, sometimes longer, 4 hours. Once you're on board, they don't stop. And I remember one particular cruise I was on, as we came past Birkenhead Point here, one of the chaps jumped off and swam ashore because he'd had enough of the social cruise that we were on. And I remember the captain being pretty teed off, and the ferry did stop to make sure that he did make it on shore safely, and he gave us a wave in his soaking wet clothes before we continued on with the cruise. But yeah, that's enough of my rambling. Let's get inside the centre and see what it's like these days. A few restaurants down the bottom here. We might make our way straight to the escalator. All this underground part I don't recognise. I don't think I ever really bothered to come down here when I was younger. Still haven't found the ground level yet. I was here a bit earlier and I'll post in the coffee that I had at the start at the end of the video as per usual, but since I've been here walking around, there's all the signs are saying, anywhere between 50% and 70% off the merchandise. So still very much a factory outlet like I remembered. There's a ton of shoe outlets here. I must have seen at least half a dozen shoe shops already. Pretty big complex as well. There's a lot of different sections. There's car parking with 3 hours free. If you decide to come and check it out yourself. I'm trying to locate the middle of it, which I remember more than anything. And this is looking promising. I think this is the part that I was looking for. Yeah, this is it. Although when I was a kid, in between these buildings, this was all uncovered. And now they've got the big glass atrium up the top. I don't know what year that was put in. If I find out, I'll whack it in the text. There's a Lindt chocolate shop down there. Tommy Hilfiger's got a sale on, 70% off. And then they've got special red ticket items for 30% off. Armani over there reckons that they're already discounted, but then you can take an extra 30% off. And Boss Store, Ginger Smarts 50% off, David Lawrence 30% off. I'll take an extra 30% off, so they're using the same sales method. It's good to see some life in the joint though. When I was reading up about it, it said that it had been affected by all of the big Westfield shopping centres around the area, like Westfield Burwood, for instance. But it's a weekday. We're in the middle of the week. It's a Wednesday, and there's still a fair few people around. Oh, there's Peters of Kensington over there. So even they've got an outlet here. There's Coach over there. Coach has got an outlet. That reminds me of going to the Coach outlet in Las Vegas when I was there back in 2019 or 2020. Right just before the Pando. 9 West is 60% off. So there's that shopping centre there, which we just walked through as well, which is part of Birkenhead Point. And you've got a list of all the stores that are in there. Anna Thomas, Willow, Elko Collective, Q, Review, Country Road. Yeah, when I came here as a kid, it was a lot more raw than this. And that centre section was definitely uncovered. But there's been a lot more, got a little wave there, a lot more redevelopment over the years. There's a Oriton clearance outlet there, 50% off. Yeah, so it's definitely been modernised since I was here last. That sign there is pointing towards the food court, supermarkets and the marina down there. Where we came in, we didn't really catch that much of the food court though when we walked through. There's a Havana store. 2 pairs for $50. And they've got some for $10 in there. Did I say Havanas? I meant to say Havianas. There's a Converse outlet. I was about to walk over to that ledge over there and there's a bloody coffee shop there. Quickly jump in front of that lady. This is a coffee shop that I was at earlier. See if we can have a quick squeeze over the ledge over there. There we go. Here's one of those little islands that I pointed out when I was at Cockatoo Island just there. Through the tin roof. Let's have a look down this upper level and see what shops they got down here. Plenty of women pushing strollers around, full of babies. I just passed by the North Face. I was going to have a quick squeeze in there, but I missed it. Bed, bath and table, 50% off. And some more shoe shops to go with all the ones that we saw earlier. Can't say I'm that excited about the prices I'm seeing. This Hype shoe shop here has got a sale on apparently. Few outdoor stores here. Oh, Adventure Mega Store. Fleeces for $59. I don't buy fleeces, so I have no idea whether that's a good price or not. Super dry. Got a few t-shirts, 2 for $79 again. Doesn't seem to be that cheap. Macpac over here, between 30 and 50% off. I can see those jackets there, under 100. I don't know how much under 100 they are. Oh, he pointed to this sign, so let's come down and have a look at the food court. See what they got on offer. There's top juice there. Not a substantial food court. Sushi, the obligatory sushi shop. Oh no, it's a bit bigger than I thought. Laksa, got some laksa in here. Chicken laksa, $18.90. Hello. I won't be having lunch today. Subway. Seafood shop there. Seafood and burgers. Kebabs. The kebab house. Goslam or Goslami, depending on how you pronounce it. Got a lot of different flavoured ones. They got another, I don't know, they got another like dozen options there. Seafood restaurant in there. There's a Porto's, chicken burgers in there. And they got this nice little outdoor seating area where you can overlook the marina while you stuff your face. Little play area there, you can play a bit of foosball. Or send the kids in there to play foosball while you continue yapping to your friends. Little coffee shop, get a little takeaway. They're serving some of that smelly cheesecake in here. That's weird because I was only thinking about that today. About the smelly cheesecake. Oh, here they are here. How much is that? They're my glasses. I think between $9.50, those little slices there. Triple chocolate. Black sesame seed, strawberry shortcake, mango cheesecake, a matcha cheesecake, mixed berry cheesecake. Oh, they got them all. I wouldn't say it's a massive piece of cheesecake though. And then we got some gelato. I love the pistachio gelato and the choc mint. How much are they? Doesn't say. Oh, there it is. It's $5.80 for a scoop, $8.80 for two, or $10 for three. Now you can even buy by the litre. 1.5 litre, $34. Oh, well now I know. I always look at that building in the city on Bathurst Street. That's got a big smelly cheesecake sign emblazoned on it. Now I know what they look like. Oh, some dumplings in here. Some shrimp dumplings, salt and pepper squid. There's some of those soup dumplings. Lunch special, $15. Get fried rice with chicken and a soft drink. That's not bad. There's another end. Oh, that's where we came in. Let's go down there. We'll have another look at the water before I say goodbye. Geez, that table I just walked past, the People left a lot of food behind. Looked almost untouched. If the door gets open, this pigeon will get in there and make short work of it. Oh, back on the marina. Let's have a little stroll along here. Oh, there's a New South Wales Marine Rescue boat there. Look at all these little birds flying around right close to the water. Must be trying to pick up some insects off the water edge. There it is again, the Birkenhead Point sign. I was about to say, I wonder if you can fish here. But off the marina, no fishing. There's a security gate here for these pontoons or wharfs or whatever you want to call them. See, look at that beast there. Look at the size of those engines. Only massive. But sure that thing can motor along. Any of you guys ever owned a boat? I haven't. I always hear all the horror stories. People buy boats and then never use them, and they just sit at the dock. Had some family friends that moved up to the Gold Coast. They purchased a speedboat because they were living on one of those canals. Had one of those canal houses, and you know, when you first went to visit them, they'd take you out on the boat. But then after that, I don't think they used it much. And then they had to go about trying to sell it. Look at all these exposed oyster shells here. Obviously we're at low tide at the moment because you can see the water comes all the way up to here. Laps all the way up there. Look at these apartment buildings here. This is on both sides of Birkenhead Point too. The big apartments. And across the way over there, that's Roselle and part of Balmain. You can see across the way there's heaps of units over there. I had a mate, shout out to, how would I say hello to him without mentioning his name? Let's just say D. Hey D, remember when you lived over there? Oh, this is a shame these barriers are up. Oh, here we've found one of the old Birkenhead marinas. Maybe the ferry used to stop here, I don't know. But we're underneath the Ironcove Bridge now. Let's see how much further we can go and get right underneath it. Oh, here's a staircase over here. Now we're definitely right underneath the Ironcove Bridge. There is a new bridge that they've built right next to it. On the map it just says Victoria Road because there's Victoria Road above us. That's either side of the Ironcove Bridge, but I don't know whether they've given a name to this new concrete bridge. They're literally here just over the rise. The bay walk starts. Can quickly come down here and have a look into Ironcove. Oh, City of Canada Bay. The Ironcove Bridge. Oh, here's a little bit about Birkenhead Point. In 1885, Henry Perriot began manufacturing rubber goods, opening an extensive plant at Birkenhead. In 1928 to 29, the company was amalgamated with Dunlop and became the Dunlop Perriot Rubber Company, later just Dunlop Rubber Australia. Its operations ceased in 1977, and then the factory buildings were converted into Birkenhead Point Shopping Centre, which we just walked around. Oh, there's a picture of what the factory looked like back in the ye old days. And here a little bit about the original owners of the land. It says it's a Wongal land, and it says Warami Bujari Gemaruwa, I think, which means hello, good day in the local language. But occupied by the Wongal people for at least 10,000 years. There you go. And I assume that's Ironcove Pool down there. But there's a sign over there that says Drummoyne. So I don't know whether that's Drummoyne Pool or Ironcove Pool. Be one of the two. I've never been there, so have no idea. But yeah, all around that bay there is the walkway for the bay walk, which you can come on. Again, look at all of these oysters exposed at low tide. You can, I don't know whether it shows up in the camera, but you can see where it really drops off. You see the oysters and then the brown bit with like a little bit of kelp on it, and then the water turns a different colour. So there's quite a decent drop off there. Probably plenty of bull sharks swimming around there. Various rowing outlets along here too. I know you can see right in the distance over there, there's a rowing centre, and then there's one further down as well with red sort of awnings out the front. Way off in the distance, you'll probably have to zoom in to get to that one. A few people got their sailboats parked over there. Oh, Milligrum coffee up the top of Birkenhead Point, underneath the glass atrium. And the flat white has arrived. Look at the size of it. He doesn't do it justice. It's a massive nectar. Yeah, it's all right. It's a bit watery. It's very milky coffee. Let me go in for another taste. Wind's starting to kick up now, but that's satisfied my curiosity on how Birkenhead Point is looking in these modern times. Definitely had some renovations done to it, and I was pleased to see there was a fair few people getting around enjoying the various amenities in the old Birkenhead Point. So as I faced back towards the marina, I thank you for coming on this little skirt. Little bit of history at the start and a walk around the centre for my own curiosity. I hope you got some enjoyment out of it. So until next time, the video is over. There's parking there for your pooch. Birkenhead Point pup parking. Get your little mud in there. Chain it up to the little latch there.